Get him, J-Rockstar. I'ma get him, cause Rockstar knows. Hey, what's up? It's your boy J-Rockstar. And on this Rockstar Knows, we took a little time out to interview Izzy Gutierrez. He's a sports journalist for ESPN. You can catch Izzy on the ESPN show Around the Horn and also on ESPN's First Take with Skip Bayless. This interview took place in my gym, so if you hear people breathing hard and grunting, those are just clients getting their body like a rock star. So, here's the interview with ESPN sports journalist Izzy Gutierrez. Cause hey, we all know Rockstar knows sports journalism. Enjoy. Hey, what's up? I'm here with Izzy, but I'm gonna let him properly introduce himself to you guys.
Hey, I'm Izzy Gutierrez. I work for ESPN. I spent 9 years working for the Miami Herald. I'm a native of South Florida. Born in New York technically, but raised in South Florida. School at the University of Florida. And now I work out the same gym as my man here, J-Rockstar.
So Izzy, let me ask you a question. What sparked your interest in journalism?
You know, it was funny because when I was in high school, I wanted to be a lawyer. And I started doing things, regular high school stuff, whatever. But then I started getting involved in the yearbook, honestly because I had an older sister. And, we had a lot of the same friends, and that was kind of the only way we could be in the same class. So, yeah, I just started, doing the yearbook thing, and then I became the editor of the yearbook. And I went to college, and I started thinking to myself, I said, do I really want to be a lawyer? Or do I want to do something that's interesting? And I'm a big sports fan, so all I do is read the sports section. So I said, I think I'm going to go into sports journalism. And so I majored in journalism, and I started at the student newspaper there, and it was exactly what I wanted, exactly what I thought it would be. I just kept going from there.
What high school did you go to?
I went to North Miami Senior High.
Shout out to North Miami. What college did you go to?
University of Florida.
Shout out to the Gators. So Izzy, in what way has physical training impacted your job as a journalist?
Well, it's interesting. To me, it's kind of, you can't really tie those two together, but to me, there's the impact of just time maintenance, being able to find time to do these things. It kind of just makes my schedule for me. I kind of work it around the training, and the other part is just being able to relate to professional athletes. You see what I'm going through, and I'm struggling, and I'm sitting here, and I'm just, I've really only been training this hard for maybe like a year. And these guys have been doing it their whole lives. So when they talk to me about, I've got a back problem, well, now I've had my back problem. I did CrossFit and got, that would cause the back problem for you, guaranteed. So I'm not going to talk bad about CrossFit, but I can relate. Like I sat there talking to Mike Miller from the Heat the other day, just about back problems, and he was just like, "Yep, I felt that. Yep, I went through that." So it's a little bit of a connection there, but outside of that, it's just about me feeling good about myself, and I love my job. I've never been happier. I thought I had my dream job at the Miami Herald. Now I have a second dream job, if you could call it that. So I was like, what? If I'm this happy professionally, I want to do the same thing for myself. Be good to me, and take care of my body and everything else. So in that respect, it's time to.
Izzy, another question for you. How has sports changed from the 90s to the 2000s?
I think there's been this sort of natural evolution. There's a couple of things. First, it's the concern about health, and I think there's a lot more awareness of that. I mean, we see it in football all the time with the concern about the concussions and not being able to hit helmet to helmet and protecting the quarterback, because I think now we're only starting to hear the stories of guys when they retire and in their older age, where they deal with dementia, or they can't even walk, or they have trouble getting up in the morning. All that stuff, I think, is a lot more awareness going on. And then in the game itself, I just feel like athletes are obviously just getting better, bigger, faster, stronger, that whole thing. There's more specialization, not just in what sport and what position and everything else, but also in the type of training, as you know. You know, defensive backs might train differently than, you know, a linebacker, or you know, a guard in basketball might train differently than a baseball player. And it's just, I don't think there was that kind of specialization back in the past. And I think it's helped the games in general, because they're being played, I think, at a higher level than you've ever seen. I mean, that's why you can't compare eras, because it's, you know, the athletes now are just so much better than they were before. So I think those are probably the two areas where it's changed the most, especially in the last couple decades.
My chin straps faster than I'm all spattered up, and I'm ready to get them. So put me in the game, coding my ambitions.
Izzy, how do you feel about Ray Lewis's retirement? And how do you feel about the Super Bowl?
You know, Ray, like I said, I'm from down here, so I remember Ray when he was at the University of Miami, and I've always been in awe of that guy. You know, people have been asked, you know, who's the best linebacker ever in your opinion, or the best defensive player, or what have you, and they always bring up LT versus Ray Lewis. I think, at the very least, they're in the same category. And there are different positions. You know, Lawrence Taylor was in position to make the more dynamic sort of highlight play. He was chasing the quarterback a lot. But Ray has just been, he's been amazing. And I understand, you know, he went through personal things like everything else, but he was able to sort of redefine himself and really just dive into the NFL and become the player that he is, despite, you know, any past issues. So, you know, as a South Floridian, I'm proud of him.
That's what's up.
And I'm happy to see him sort of go out this way, whether he wins or loses the Super Bowl. Just being there, it's, you know, it's a great way to end his career. And unfortunately, I'd have to lean toward the Niners in terms of who I'd look for to win that game. I mean, they have a really dynamic offense right now, and their defense is probably on the same level as Baltimore, so I'd probably lean toward the Niners to win that.
How do you feel about the Niners quarterback?
I mean, he's got so much potential, right? I mean, we didn't even see him explode for this type of running game until the playoffs, and now you see that potential there. It's like, wow. And he can still drop dimes. I mean, the guy makes good throws, and when he gets really comfortable in that situation, I mean, the sky's the limit for that guy. And he's got a handful of weapons now. If they keep that up and keep the weapons around him, and just, man, I mean, that's sort of a perfect storm right there, where you've got a really good coach in Jim Harbaugh, an up-and-coming dynamic quarterback, and a defense that just doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Right. So I really like what San Francisco has going there.
Question, who do you think should be Coach of the Year?
Who do I think should be Coach of the Year? I gotta go with Jim Harbaugh. When you think about what it means to be Coach of the Year, it's a guy who not only took his team and got the most out of it, but he made some tough decisions. And one in particular, obviously, the Colin Kaepernick decision. Nobody was happy about that. Even, you know, the team itself was wondering. You know, there was some division in there. It seemed like, based on interviews. I don't think anybody was sold on Kaepernick, especially given how well Alex Smith had been playing before he got hurt. He stuck to it, and look what it's gotten him now. Now, the postseason success doesn't really count when it comes to voting for Coach of the Year, but if you're looking at it from this perspective, like from right now and looking back, I think he should sort of jumps out as the candidate.
Ambitions are high, I got that fire in my eyes, and I'm ready to knock out anybody toting the rocks. And where I'm from, homie, if you a real ball player, never all fit to go and ball.
My man, who do you feel is the greatest athlete of our time in your perception, and who's your favorite athlete?
All right, now I'm automatically going to cheat toward basketball because it's my favorite sport. So both of these are going to be basketball related. I think the greatest of all time, kind of an easy answer there, is Michael Jordan.
Oh, Mike.
And I just, you know, it's not only that he was the greatest player of his generation, but he did it at 6'6". Normally you're talking about everybody else. You're talking about Shaq. You're talking about Kareem. You're talking about Wilt, Bill Russell, all these guys that dominated with their height. He dominated with not just skill and athletic ability, but just this ridiculous motivation. I mean, he was the most competitive person I've ever seen interviewed, I've ever spoken to. I mean, the guy, you saw his Hall of Fame speech. All he did was go by one, everybody who's motivated him over the years by wrongdoings or what have you, and it's just like, man, you are angry. So even in retirement, the guy was angry and really motivated by all these people who have done things in his past. So I'd say he's the greatest.
Okay.
My favorite, and it's kind of an odd, it's an odd combination. All right, it's got. It's Jason Williams.
J. Will, white chocolate.
Former Gator, former Heat player.
Come on, J-Rockstar. It ain't athletic, just rapping is the sport. I was born, wanna feel it now. Do you wanna court?
Izzy, what is the most memorable moment of your career?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting answer. To me, okay, in terms of career, I just think of it as experiences. Like, I'm not thinking, oh, well, I wrote a really good column or I did something good on TV. That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm just thinking about the experience. And I think, most memorable experience was probably at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing.
How was the city of Beijing? Was it beautiful?
You know, China was fun. It was very beautiful. It was different. It's obviously a different environment because of it's not a democracy. It's a communist country and everything else. So there's a lot of things that were odd to me, just coming from this country. There's a lot of things you learn, like just little things, like diapers over there are like a luxury. So most kids, most children who still need diapers and can't afford them, they literally wear like jumpers or whatever the kids wear, onesies, but they have a slit in the crotch area where if the baby goes, he just goes. Or she just goes anywhere. I know that, yeah. So you got to get used to stuff like that. But I'm telling you, that was one of the weirdest things.
Like a dog?
I didn't stick around to find out.
That's amazing.
So there's that. I went to the Great Wall of China twice. I did one time with Dwayne Wade.
What was that?
It was amazing. I mean, Dwayne Wade was there, Darren Williams was there, Chris Paul was there, and I think there was one other player from the basketball team there. And no, it was great. And I ended up writing a story about it. And Dwayne's one of the most accessible guys, one of the most accessible superstars in the league. So when I got that opportunity, I was just really excited about it.
Dwayne is a cool dude.
Yeah.
So Izzy, on an open day, a day that you have all to yourself, what would you do? What would you spend your day doing?
You know what? I've never been asked that, and I've never really taken too much time to think about it. But I really like to play basketball, and I would love to just find an indoor court somewhere with organized basketball and just play for a couple hours.
That's what's up.
And I would love to just go for each meal. Just go to a phenomenal restaurant because I don't know if you want to call me a foodie, but I'm definitely into food.
You're a food connoisseur, my brother. You're a food connoisseur.
I am. So which is why I have to train. But I would do if I could get somehow some combination of playing some basketball, maybe even some indoor volleyball, and going to a full of restaurants. And it, happened to be a beautiful day in South Florida. That would be a pretty cool day right there.
Have you ever thought about going to one restaurant for appetizer, one of the restaurants for the entree,
and another
for the dessert?
Oh, but that is genius right there.
Yes. Bang, bang. That's what. Take them to the bridge.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. I'm Israel Gutierrez of ESPN. You can find me on Twitter at Izzy ESPN. And shout out to RockstarBodies.com. We're out.
I want to thank my man Izzy Gutierrez for a great interview. There's nothing like talking sports with a sports guru, you dig? But now it's your turn to get involved. How you may ask? It's real simple. I have 3 questions for you. You can answer all 3 or you can just answer one. The first question is this here. Who do you think the greatest athlete of all time is? My man Izzy says his is Michael Jordan. And that's a great answer. But there's so many to choose from. You have Bo Jackson, you have Muhammad Ali, the list goes on. So let me know what you think. Second question. Who do you think the greatest defensive player of all time is? Tied for the #1 spot with my man Izzy is Ray Lewis and Lawrence Taylor. And wow, those are 2 phenomenal defensive players. But the list is so big. You have Reggie White, you have Deion Sanders, wink wink. So let me know what you think. Third question. How do you feel sports have changed from the 90s to the 2000s? My man Izzy says the awareness of health, which is a great answer. But let me know what you think. You can leave your answers on my Twitter at J-Rockstar1 or on my Facebook, www.facebook.com/enterthepoplife, or you can go to rockstarbodies.com. Go to the Rockstar Notes section and leave your comments there. We're going to look at all the answers, and we're going to give the top 3 people with the best answers a shout out on the next Rockstar Notes Sports section. So make sure you go there and you leave your comments. And I'll be seeing you soon, because we all know Rockstar knows. Get him, J-Rockstar. I'ma get him, cause Rockstar knows.